I hope that I can speak loud enough to where everyone can hear. Thank you again for inviting me. Thank you, Kendall, for trusting your mama. I'm gonna tell you wants to shut off. Okay, so I don't just want to jump into a word without kind of letting you know who I am. Of course, you all know me as Kendall's mom, but my name is LaTrial Thompson. Everybody knows me by Reese. I'm a pastor's wife, so many call me Lady Reese. Like people at the church, they call me Lady Reese and all that. Miss Thompson is fine, it doesn't matter. Together, my husband and I, we have 6 children and 3 biological children together, including Kendall and Michael and Joshua. Of course, you all know Kendall. I'm so proud of her, and she's so full of wisdom, and she is absolutely funny in my eyes. So many of the children at my church, I consider them my children. I consider them my village, and I'm saying all this for a reason. I was raised in Lake Providence, Louisiana, where we believed in playing outside, coming in when the street lights came on, saying yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, speak when you're spoken to, speak when you walk into a room, waiting on an elder to finish their sentence before you kind of chime in and say excuse me. We had to walk out of the room when the parents were each having a conversation. So that's the era where I grew up in, and I try to teach my children that as well. We valued a lot about the church. My mother and father would take us, and they would actually send us to church. Excuse me. It was 6 of us, and so my uncle was a musician at just about every church in East Carroll Parish. Every church, he would jump from this church to that church, which means that my mom's 6 children would be following him on the church van, bouncing around in the church van as he drove on the wrong side of the road. That's just what he did. We went to choir rehearsal, we went to Bible study, everything 8 days a week. Not 7. It was 8 days a week, 25/8. Okay, but we were traumatized. But no, seriously, we learned so much about life, morals, and values, and many life lessons, including faith, which is what I'm talking about today. I know that along the line, along the few months, you probably have heard about faith and all of that, but I would like to come from another position. Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Faith has always been the cornerstone of my life. Growing up, my parents and teachers instilled in me the importance of trusting God no matter the circumstances. My life wasn't always pretty, but I can say that faith has guided me through every corner of my life, every chapter from my childhood in Lake Providence to my role as pastor's wife and mother. Even when I didn't understand what faith was, I was still acting in faith. I didn't even know I was practicing it. So one of the most profound lessons of faith I've learned is the power of prayer. Mark 1:35 says, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up and left the house and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. My beautician is a pastor. No, she did not do this. I'm struggling, okay? I love the way that she pours into me whenever she stands behind me to do my hair. She's always giving me some kind of word of encouragement. She's always telling me something. She's never given any negativity. We're not gossiping. We're talking about the word of God. And she tells me how every morning, no matter what's going on, at 5 a.m., she's up spending time with God. She's praying and she's listening for his voice. I've tried to incorporate that in my own life, and I do a great job for a little while, but then distractions come. The phone starts buzzing, somebody sends a text message, I get a notification from Facebook, and then I think, I run across some on TikTok, and I'm like, I need to take my picture of what I'm doing right now. So I have to change everything, do a whole setup and all of that, do a little selfie, get the phone just right to get my lighting right, move my whole position. And then I realized that all of that time that I was supposed to be spending time with God, I have now given that over to things like social media. When God doesn't even care about social media, he cares about your heart. He cares about spending time with you. He cares about that personal time. And so we have to be intentional about our time that we spend with God. If we say that we're going to do something, we have to do it. If we say, I'm going to get up at 3 a.m., get up at 3 a.m. If you say that I'm going to put my phone down, or I'm going to delete the app for just a day or two, do that. Don't neglect it, because there's something God is trying to tell you at that time. So you have to make sure that whatever you say that you're going to do, you do it. Prayer is a direct line to God. You don't have to have a middleman. There's you and God. So a way to pour out our hearts and to seek his guidance is through prayer. I've witnessed prayer in my life. I've witnessed prayer, what prayer does in my life and my children's life. I know that I'm a praying mama, so I'm waiting on things to happen in their life. They may not be confident in certain areas, so I know that through my prayers and through my faith, I have to help push them through and to help teach them what prayer is and what prayer does for them. Prayer takes discipline. We just talked about that. Prayer takes discipline, and it develops your relationship with God. So carve out that time to spend with God every day. Number 2, faith also teaches us to trust in God's perfect timing. In a world where we often seek so much instant gratification, it's essential to remember that God's plan unfolds in his perfect time. The lesson today has helped me to remain patient and hopeful, even when faced with uncertainties. Trusting in God's timing has brought me peace and assurance, knowing that he is in control and has a plan for my life, and so does he have a plan for yours. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says that to everything there is a season, a time and a purpose for under heaven. A time for every purpose under heaven. So this verse reminds us that there's a divine appointed time for everything in life, even if we don't understand it at that particular time. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." So trusting in God's timing requires patience and faith. This verse encourages us to wait on the Lord, promising strength and endurance in his return. Romans 8:28, most of us know that one, and we know that all things work together for the good of them who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. And this emphasizes that even during difficult times and difficult waiting periods, God is working everything out for your good in his timing. And so these verses offer a comforting perspective, so to speak, on the importance of trusting in God's perfect timing. Lastly, your faith affects everyone around you. And I kind of condensed this message a little bit. But your faith affects everyone around you. And so it really talks about community. I teach my children this life lesson, that everything you do affects everyone around you, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Today we're not going to focus on the bad. We're going to focus on what is good about you. What does the next person see in you that resembles faith? What does your faith look, how does it show up to others? Does your faith walk show up to others as if you're scared of your faith? Does it show up as if you really don't care about it, or it's just something that you pick up and you put down whenever you feel like it? Do you really rely on God in everything that you do? And that's something that you learn along the way whenever you develop a strong and pure relationship with God our Father. Psalm 104 says, "Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise." Now, I'm a churchy girl. I'm a real churchy girl. So any other time I would have said, "Enter into his gates with thanksgiving," but I'm not going to do that today. But just as it takes a village to raise a child, it also takes a community to nurture and sustain our faith. Our church families play a crucial role in this. They provide support, encouragement, and accountability. Without accountability, we will be prone to do anything that we want to do, and we can't do that. I told my Sunday school lesson, I'm gonna get off script. I told my Sunday school lesson my Sunday school class in my lesson the other day that I never wanted to be a pastor's wife. I didn't want that. I would have ran. I don't think a lot of the things that I do today I've ever wanted to do. I don't want to teach Sunday school. I don't want to teach Bible study. I don't want to do none of that. But everything that I do is attached to somebody else. And just by me saying yes to God, I'm able to help usher other people into the presence of God and into the faith. And that's what our ultimate job is. It's not just for us. This faith is not just for us. Who are you witnessing to? Even in your youth, who are you witnessing to on a daily basis? Who do you see every day that you say, hey, I'm going to say something nice, or I'm going to do something nice, or I'm going to invite them to church, or I'm going to invite them to Bible study or youth study, or whatever you may have going on at your place? What does faith look like on you? And so we can stay home. We can watch as many videos on YouTube. We can watch as many sermons. We can have the best playlist, the best Christian playlist. I don't know about that other one, but the best Christian playlist that there is. But there's nothing like community. There is nothing like fellowshipping with others. Like what you all are doing today, there's nothing like that fellowship and getting to know God in one place. Something I say today may hit this one in one place and may hit this one in another place and may hit this one in another place, while it's also teaching me as well. So it's true sometimes that we don't feel like it, but faith means saying yes to the things of God. It means doing things that we don't want to do for his kingdom. Look at Jonah. He ended up in the belly of a whale because he did not want to do what God had asked him to do to help build his kingdom. He ran from his purpose. I found out that just you walking into the doors gives somebody else hope. It doesn't matter how old you are. Your presence alone is encouragement to somebody. It doesn't matter how old they are. There may be an elder person that is watching you navigate through life and is giving them hope. Saying yes to God increases your faith. When you say yes, you become equipped. When you say yes, you begin to step outside of your own limited understanding, and you begin to understand God's ways. When you say yes to God, you get an everlasting inheritance and blessings that you cannot outlive. The blessings surpass your wildest dreams. You get a seat at the Lord's table. You start to learn from him when you say yes. You find rest in your soul when you say yes. The weight of the world is no longer on your shoulders when you say yes. Everything no longer falls on you when you say yes. You're no longer burdened with the weight of the world when you say yes. You don't have to have all the answers when you say yes. When you're sitting at the Lord's table, you can trust that he has complete control. So let's embrace the power of yes and unlock the abundant life that God has given us and has prepared for us through our faith. By faith, we know that in all that we say and all that we do, we have a heavenly Father that loves us. And we know that, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that it is he, and that he is a rewarder of them who diligently seek him. These lessons of faith, prayer, community, and trusting in God's timing and love service are all the foundation of my life, as I hope that it is a beginning of the foundation of yours. So they are a guiding principle that shapes our actions, our decisions, and our relationships, and helping us to navigate through life's challenges with grace and strength. That's all I have.
Do you have any questions or anything for Ms. Thompson? Anybody want to add anything to what she had to say? I love what you said about saying yes, because at 4:30 this